Hey guys, welcome into the show before the show. Glad you're with us today. Every day there's plenty to talk about, as always. Glad you're with us for canceltheshow.com. Happy Thursday, January 9th. Hey guys, good morning, Ben. Good morning, Joe. Hey, good morning, Terry. Thanks for letting people know about what we're doing here on the show. Good morning, Cindy and Stephanie. May have Eric coming in. Eric is coming in today for a business meeting, but he's trying to get here. He lives out the country. Believe it or not, roads still not taken care of in some places of St. Charles County. Bizarre, just very bizarre to me. Of course, we got the fires to talk about. There's so much with that going on. DA talk coming up, which is going to be interesting. DA has to meet a deadline regarding the Trump petition to the Supreme Court. See what's going to happen with that. Glad you're with us here today. Thanks for jumping on the People's Podcast. You can do it, of course, as you know. And it is Thursday. Hi, Joe. Hey, Stephanie. Same in St. Louis County says when it comes to the snow. Yeah, we've got listeners all over the country. Had a lot of snow in the Midwest throughout St. Louis area. People still trying to dig out, so to speak, trying to get around to different places. And we're glad that you're with us today. We're ready to get this thing going.
Today is technically episode 500.
I was looking it up.
Sorry.
At episode 500. We just pass them all.
That means I produced 400 of those.
Yeah, because you did. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like you've been around that long.
It is crazy. Very crazy.
Congratulations to 500 shows. Yes, Ben, thank you. And thank you for your support. That is for sure. Greg says biblical events in California, floods, fire, earthquakes, drought, etc. Yeah, you never know. Good morning, Jamie and Michelle. We continue to rock and roll, moving on forward. Just grateful that you guys are here with us. Thank you so much. Finishing up a couple things for the show before we kickstart in a couple minutes. Hi there, Cindy and Michelle, and another Michelle. Thanks for jumping in, everybody. Hello there, Michelle. A third Michelle sitting to Clinton and Bushes. Won't look at him. Yes, Michelle. Megan's. As a matter of fact, Megan's given us updates as well. She's given us more stories. She's given Joe and I stories to run today. Yeah, she did. She was stepping away. All good. She's just so darn busy and working with her trafficking and her kids. But we're still keeping in contact with her. She's our friend. Heck, her son and my son are good friends. Yeah, it's a bummer for us, but we continue to rock and roll. Sorry you weren't here with the show the other day. Connie, is Eric going to take Megan's place? Not every day. No, we're still putting some things together when it comes to the show. More guests. Me, do we bring somebody else in? We're putting it all together and kind of figuring that out right now. The good thing is that we continue to rock and roll, and we appreciate all your guys' support for coming in. Yeah, many sitting in the chairs minus Trump should be in jail, and Obama especially. Can't disagree with that, Pam. Appreciate you jumping in with that post as well. Hi, Donna. Good morning to everybody jumping in on the show. Yeah, gosh, there's so much to get into with this fire, and then, I mean, just so much. Trump's right again. It's... All right, let's go ahead and kickstart it, buddy. You got it. Are you looking to elevate your brand's presence? Partner with Cancel This Show with myself, Vic Faust, and my co-host,
Megan Marie. We're ranked in the top 10% globally.
Our show has reached over 1.68 million engaged listeners, and we continue to grow monthly.
Podcasting is one of the best ways to advertise
because it offers a highly engaged audience, SEO targeted reach,
and the ability to build a personal connection with listeners.
Dive into the dynamic world of cancel culture, politics, all current events, and the latest news with us.
It's the American taxpayers that are having to pay for all of this monkey business left and right.
Look at all of these pictures. They are using AI to generate fake photos, and we show you them. And Joe will show, we got a video of one, we've got certain pictures.
They were hiding the fact and trying to lie to the American people for months that Joe Biden was doing well.
This is Kamala. This is Joe Biden. It's Barack Obama. It's Jake Sullivan, all together doing anything and everything they can to strike back at Donald Trump because he continues to kick their ass.
If that doesn't make you mad enough to vote one way or another in this election, nothing will do it.
Get your company's voice heard, your brand recognized.
And the exposure you deserve.
Does your brand align with our mission?
Let's talk and make an impact together. Hey guys, welcome into cancelthisshow.com. Dang, almost 100 people already listening live before we even start today throughout all of our platforms. We love it. We appreciate you joining us on this January 9th show of cancelthisshow.com. Vic Faust here alongside Pro Joe, making sure we look and sound as good as we possibly can. It is Thursday. Yes, it is cold throughout the Midwest, cold around the country. We had a lot of snow here, and of course, we could be getting more snow. Just a few more days of it. Good morning to you as well, Peter George. As we get into the politics and the news things that are happening around the country, can you believe a fourth day in a row for most of the schools around St. Louis out of school still? Now, I know there are some roads that are bad, and then the cold hits. My son goes to a non-public school, but they're doing a late start today, but 4 days in a row. Heck, I even know that like Fort Zumwalt West had meetings scheduled for Records Day for tomorrow. They have a whole week off from school. That's a big, that's after the holiday break, Christmas break, New Year's break. It's just bizarre to think all the days of school, but they hadn't missed any yet, and they plan these days. You just hope and pray that there's no more weather that comes this winter for all the kids that are missing school, that's for sure. I know they're loving it, and it's a lot of fun. It can be difficult as parents trying to take care of them. That's for sure, especially if you have working parents where all of that goes. Okay, coming up to the show, later in the show, we'll get to what's happening. It should be starting right now. Juan Merchan, that peach of a judge, and we all know the what he was trying to do with a fake trial against Trump. He has to today. They're waiting on a deadline to see what he decides, because Trump petitioned yesterday the Supreme Court of the United States. And when they've talked about this before, they've ruled that presidents have immunity when it comes to the situation regarding sentencing. He's supposed to have a sentencing day tomorrow. He's trying to extend it, and we'll see what happens with the Supreme Court. I think that will go the way of Donald Trump. I really do. That could come out during the middle of the show. We are a live show, live podcast here on cancelthisshow.com. But another big deal that's going on right now is what's happening in LA, the fires and everything, because in the midst of everything and how bad it is, there's so many other stories that are hitting with this, and we're trying to hit it all today. And you've seen video. We can show you video right now, Joe. I gave you video. Just pop up whatever videos we have, and if it's video, I'll talk through it. If it's sound, we'll let that play. But we're talking about the largest fires in the history of LA, the largest 5 burning fires right now, little to no containment. That's Hollywood. That's Hollywood, the Hollywood Hills right now. Now they've had a drought. You've seen this, and they knew that a huge fire could happen. We'll show you sound. Trump's been warning about this for years. And now you've got Hollywood burning. That was an up top view where you get an idea of what's happening. But that's the up top view right there. Then we show you some of the ground level stuff, and it really does look like Maui. I've heard people talk about this. The videos just blow me away. Those embers with fast moving winds in dry climates, it doesn't take much to start. Now, I'm not getting to conspiracy theories and all that, but just take a look at ground levels. I believe this is a shot of Malibu. And guess what? You'll find a lot of people who know and are experts when it comes to their climate that say this is all preventable. They don't do forest burns because they're worried about green initiatives. And you have firefighters saying that the hydrants went out. They dried up. You plan for the worst. They didn't have enough water in there. And allegedly, it's because Gavin Newsom, the state's governor, has redirected water to protect a fish called a smelt, which is basically extinct because of green initiatives. You can't make this stuff up. Right next to the ocean. Pam says, you have huge ocean. Why can't you use that? It's really sad. But Jeannie says, well, karma's a bitch. May the fires make Californians wake up to remove their leaders. Well, when celebrities' homes are burning to the ground, they have an issue. They're speaking up. I mean, even Sarah Michelle Gellar's calling out Newsom. Many others, they're tired of it. All of these things going on. Will it become Maui? So many aspects of what's happening. And if it happens to important people, yeah, we hear more about it. It's not right. Robert says it's all a green scam, and it's a green scam worldwide. We've been calling it out. Trump's been calling it out forever as well. When you look at those videos, I mean, think about this as I break this down for you. 27,000 acres burned already and burning, little to zero containment. And for whatever reason, 100-mile-an-hour winds. Look at this McDonald's that was on fire with the wind whipping. Okay, those embers can go anywhere. And when you have dry climate, yeah, they're in a drought. It doesn't take much. I've been a part of controlled burns as part of my news career, and those things will light up fast. I mean, super fast. Blew my mind how fast fires could start. But if you're not doing controlled burns and you don't have the proper safety precautions in place and water, I don't care how trained you are. I don't care, and we'll get into it. If you're gay, straight, man, woman, big, strong, whatever, small, weak, it doesn't matter if you don't have freaking water. Aha, you are right there. Who was that? Dave? Dave, you already talked about it. And I mean, you just brought up on the chat line. I'm trying to go back to your chat right now. Fires, 2 months, just 2 months after major insurance companies cancel the homeowners' policies. That's what makes me go, okay, 2 months? All right. Not trying to make this a conspiracy theory because I don't know, because they do have dry climates. State Farm, one of those, canceled fire policies. I don't care how rich you are. If you don't have insurance and you can't rebuild homes, that sounds like a Maui situation to me all over again. And then on top of it, good luck, because you live in California. If you try to rebuild and you try to make a life for yourself again, good luck with the bureaucratic policies that they have there, the liberal policies of all the people who elected those liberal leaders on getting building permits and how long it takes dealing with those state governments. It's a nightmare in California. Try dealing with that. I've talked to my parents who live out there. It's a nightmare. And they won't be able to rebuild. And if they do, it's for a long time from now. And now you get over 100,000 displaced. And not only that, guess what else? There's looting. That happened in the 2015 fires. So all of these things going on. Can we restart this video, Joe? The reason I say that for our podcast listeners, this is what drew my attention to it. These are two gentlemen that were inside their home in Pacific Palisades. Glad to report they were rescued shortly after this video was posted. But if we replay it, and it has sound, right? Yeah, just listen to the sound. Imagine being in your home and seeing this come up on you, because the fires are moving at a sprinter's speed, fast.
Hi. Just be okay. You're gonna be okay. Hi. You're gonna be okay. Oh shit. Yeah, don't worry about that, dude. Look at that. Holy shit. Scary, huh? Yeah. God. The plastic is gone, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck. Okay.
For our podcast listeners, we're showing fire literally coming up to a home that has all glass windows, where you see the fire coming right in to burn the home down. They were rescued, which is a good part of this. And yeah, liberal leaders and policies,
where's
and
the
I know this
gas?
stuff happens.
Outside.
From the chat line, Logan says Hunter Biden's home burned down in the slab. Okay. Once again, we welcome all your comments. Whether people agree with each other or not, it makes you wonder. I'm sorry, I don't know how the 100-mile-an-hour winds come up. That makes me what? And allegedly, winds were blowing to the ocean, not from the ocean in. That made me go, how the hell is that going on?
That's what I found weird too.
Yeah, the insurance being canceled 2 months before. Hunter Biden, I didn't even know about Hunter Biden's home being burned down. From the chat line, Donna says, yeah, another distraction before the inauguration. Yeah, that's sure. Peter says, I'm sure the heat of the fire contributes to the winds. No doubt about that. It all does. And we appreciate everybody jumping in on this. It's all crazy. Abe, why don't they just cloud seed and make it rain? Yeah, it would make sense, doesn't it? Since we've seen that happen. So many people, yeah, the poor doggy as well. Imagine that. The video is unbelievable, Karen, especially if you're somebody dealing with that, or if you've been in a fire or near a fire. It doesn't take long for it to spread. That's why I'm not jumping conspiracy theory yet, but there are a few factors there that make you go, reminds me of 9/11. Oh, insurance policies taken out just a month or 2 months before the World Trade Center went down. Somebody collects billions of dollars right before it happens. Karen says Maui 2.0. And I am so glad you brought up the insurance issue. No one is talking about, well, they should be. I've been studying my ass off on this. I don't live in California. My mother and stepfather and sister and my brother-in-law and their kids, they all live in Southern California, not near here. They live just north of the San Diego area, but I get a lot of updates from California. I have another friend who I talked to who lives in Redondo Beach. Talked to him this morning. He says it's not near them yet, but he says people need to get real out here in LA. And a lot of this stuff can be avoided if you don't have these fake, woke, green policies. And you don't even have people, when something bad happens, if you screw up, admit it, move on. Listen, nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes. But these people are so indignant. Pam says we had been there many years ago in the winter and fires were going on then. The Santa Ana winds were awful. Yeah, I hear about them. I do. But at the same point in time, from the chat line as well, definitely not a wildfire, though. Another man-made catastrophic event. I'm curious why you would say that you think that that's a man-made situation. Maybe the first one, but it's easy how they could jump around and do it. And what would be the point of this? What would be the point of a man-made fire right now? I don't know what the point would be from that standpoint. I don't know. James Woods from Mandy. James Woods spoke about his insurance being canceled 4 months ago. I saw him on Fox News talking about that this morning as well. Newsom was redirecting water from the Klamath River video. I did. We have that. Yeah, we're going to get to that. We'll get to it, buddy. I appreciate you, Joe. Air convection from hot air from fire that can create fire tornadoes. Oh, yeah, all kinds of things going on. This has become a national story. And there's something about fire that resonates with people. I don't care if you live in LA or not. There's something about fire. Even when I was in local news for 25 years, we always had to show fire. And for whatever reason, when people saw fire, they stayed around. Literally, ratings would stay there. Was something about fire that gets people's attention. And it's all sad. I mean, it could happen to anybody. Connie says, I'm curious, why so much coverage of this? And next to nothing on North Carolina when hurricanes hit those poor people that are still suffering. That's a great point, Connie. I mean, you gave me chills thinking about that. You're right. Well, because you can see fire happening, the hurricane hits, and then devastation's left. This is an actual active event. That's my gut feeling. And there's something about watching fire, which I was just talking about. Pam also agrees. Someone started it. Will there be proof at some point in time? I always feel the proof comes out and truth comes out, but sometimes it takes a year later, 2 years later, and then it kind of goes under the it's not under the microscope. It goes under the radar. And it's released on a Friday afternoon news dump day. And then some people talk about it. Yeah, see, it was man-made, but then we're off to other things. Wasn't there a UFO spotted in the smoke? I don't know if that's BS or not. I haven't seen it. From the chat line as well. I think Maui was a practice run. Interesting. I love the opinions on this because, like I said, I'm not going down the deep hole yet. I'm not going full conspiracy theory because there's too many people who are still trying to get help. We're trying to break it down. You're talking about 5 different fires burning with little to no containment. Apocalypse warning, just like water fire, also cleanses heathen removal. Okay, we're really getting there. Yeah, Joe reminded me there was no water in Maui either. Remember, they turned it off. They turned off that water in Maui. And then all of a sudden, when it came to the situation of beautiful Malibu, Pacific Palisades, Hollywood Hills, oh, we're out of water. Really? In a fire-stricken area where one of the worst things that you have to deal with, besides earthquakes, which are very difficult to predict, are fires. Yet you're not planning out to have enough water for the worst possible event? Wrong. That's what makes me go, okay, something isn't adding up. All you have to do is worry about fires. How do we prevent it? How do we make sure we have enough water there if something happens? Gee, we're in a drought. Oh, we've got a problem right now. We've got conditions that are ready for a freaking fire. Yet we don't have enough water. We don't have enough water. Interesting point. I hadn't heard this from the chat line. The cartels are known to start large fires. Have never heard that. Well, isn't that a nice thought? Isn't that something else to add to the equation? Mandy says, LA was on the smart city list allegedly. Guess who else city was on the smart city list? Maui. Maui was on the smart city list as well. Yo, man, do you have short videos? Yeah, we do. We'll get them out there, and we have. No water in several fire hydrants. Yeah, that's what we've been talking about. It is insane, some of the things that have happened. And, of course, Joe adds to the point, one of the richest areas is not out of water. Well, the complaint, at least from Donald Trump from that standpoint, is Newsom has redirected water to save some fish called the smelt. Dave says smart cities being built before the Olympics come to LA. Yeah, think about that. Another, you guys rock. You guys are the best. Think we got the Olympics coming up too. Man, I didn't even think about that. With all of these situations that are happening, distractions, why is it happening right now? And I have to say this from Chris. I have to read this really quick. And thank you guys. You guys are rocking the show. That's why this hour flies by so fast, because we try to have conversations that make sense with evidence. Just so info, Karen Bass, the mayor of LA, was a member of the Armed Resistance Unit. Wow. That was responsible for the Capitol bombing in 1983. She's a card-carrying communist that visited Cuba frequently. When Castro died, she said it was a great loss to the world. Wow, did not know this. Also, Karen Bass cut the fire department budget by $17 million. Yeah, she did. The budget was in the 80s. They cut it by $17 million. Pam says, no shock there. Is this fire along the proposed LA train route to Sacramento? I'm not sure. Robert, please try to let us know. And Projo, if you can keep in contact with what Robert has to say on that answer, that would be great to know. But at the same point in time, speaking of Karen Bass, she's the mayor of LA. There's no leadership. Okay, in life, crap can happen. Shit can happen. Bad can happen, but it's how you respond to the problem, whether you created it or not. Listen to Karen Bass yesterday. Upon returning from vacation and a trip, standing with her aide, and I credit this reporter. I don't know who the reporter is, but when Karen, no, that's not the right one. When Karen Bass is speaking or listening to the question, she's speechless. When she is being asked, what the hell is going on? Where is your leadership? This is the kind of stuff that makes you go, wow, this is the mayor of LA. Listen to her. Literally, she got off a plane. This is LA leadership for you. Democratic, communist leadership in LA.
Citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning? Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor? Have you nothing to say today? Have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today? Elon Musk says that you're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position? Madam Mayor, have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today who are dealing with this disaster?
Ridiculous.
No apology for them? Do you think you should have been visiting Ghana while this was unfolding back home?
Yeah, we can get out of this right now. This is sad. I mean, that's your leadership. That's LA leadership for you right there. She's not a DEI hire because she was elected. I mean, this is what they'll have a chance to reelect their leaders, Gavin Newsom, who's blaming local level. All local levels have this all taken care of. That's what Gavin's saying. Where's responsibility, leadership, accountability? Joe Biden mentioned that he welcomed another grandkid. Yeah, they're talking about wildfires yesterday, and Joe Biden, oh, I'm a great grandfather. Shut up. Your time is done. Thank you. Robert says, reminds me of the school boards. No accountability, just dumb looks. Yeah, because nobody wants to take responsibility because everybody's worried about getting sued. Everybody's worried about losing their job. Karen says this is what happens when DEI takes over. Also, Chris says the DEI fire chief was an Alphabet Mafia supporter and said her goal was to almost solely hire women and queer firefighters. Yeah, that's true. She did. And they did a story on it. But I don't care. You know what? You're right. You know what? Let's play the Megyn Kelly clip, please. Megyn Kelly addressed this on her podcast late last night. You guys know I have an infatuation with her and her podcast. I love what she does and I love her style. This addresses it. I don't care if you're gay, straight, black, white, man, it doesn't matter. The problem is if people are prepared or not, if you don't have water to fight fires, you're screwed. Here was Megyn talking about this so eloquently last night.
Who gives a shit if the fire chief is gay? I'm sorry, but who gives a flying fig about who she likes to sleep with? Can you fight the fucking fires, madam? That's the relevant question. We don't care about your lady parts, and we don't care who you want having access to them. Can you fight fires? Can you make sure there's water in the fire hydrants? When you realize in Ventura County, this is a massive problem. When you realize that California is going through a drought where they haven't had rain in weeks and months, I don't care who turns you on. And you know why they have only 100 women in a squad of 3,300? Because women tend to be smaller and not as strong. And unless you lower the requirements to become a firefighter, most women can't pass the test. This is an absurdity. This is just like the Secret Service and what happened with Trump. We needed all these women in there who weren't even tall enough to protect the 6'3" president. Under this woman, Ms. Crowley, the department created a diversity, equity, and inclusion bureau to train firefighters not on refilling the hydrants or what to do when they're empty, but on the importance of DEI.
Yeah, thank you so much, Megyn Kelly. You are awesome, and you always have a great way of putting things in perspective. And I wanted to hear that from her, a woman, talking about there's so many things that are wrong in LA when it comes to leadership. And when something goes bad, you see what happens. Isn't it interesting when Donald Trump deals with a situation, it's all taken care of. Literally, it is. Look at Ron DeSantis in Florida. I mean, things are taken care of. When problems happen, Republican leadership attacks it and takes care of it. When you have all these hoops to jump through and hurdles to jump over, as is the Democratic way, you're screwed. Electricity being turned off all around the fire. That's right. So that's an additional issue for citizens. Guess what happens? And I love you guys for bringing up these things. Guess what happens when you turn the electricity off? In California, what do they love in California? And I'm not getting on people who have these. Your cars. Oh, yeah, that's right. Wait a second. Electricity's off. We can't get our cars. We can't exit out of the fire area. We can't evacuate. Electricity's all turned off. Oh, man. Jeannie says, what happened to the forest fires or the forest firefighters? Seems they were using the regular firefighters instead. Not sure. Not sure. Greg says, good news, bad news. Good news, California is slowly becoming an island from the continental drift. Bad news is it's going to take 2 million years. Okay. All of these things going on. Also, when you talk about people losing their homes out there, but, some stars, Billy Crystal, Hilton Paris, Adam Brody, Anna Faris, love her, by the way, Ricky Lake, Cameron Matheson, Heidi Montag. We talked, James Woods earlier talking about his insurance being cut 4 months before there's fires. How long does it take to rebuild? How long do these fires go on for? How do they get water to these? I saw a video, freaking firefighters taking orange cones, literally orange cones, Joe, and trying to scoop up water out of puddles and throwing them. on fires. Welcome to Gavin Newsom's California. I feel bad for the residents there, but you know what? You get what you vote for. You get what you vote for. Not everybody voted for them, but it's interesting because these areas that we're talking about, Malibu, Pacific Palisades, Hollywood Hills, guess what? If you break down how liberal they are, how hard, it's about 75, 80% hardcore liberal. And they voted for all these leaderships. And guess what? Now it's their house is burning. Their business is burning. What I saw before we started the show this morning, Tom Hanks' home burned down. Didn't he say he was going to leave if Donald Trump was president anyway? I don't know. I know he's got a place there. Linda says it's so sad, so tragic it is.
I bet Tom Hanks' insurance wasn't canceled.
It'd be interesting to see that. Think about this. Already, over 2,000 homes and businesses burned to the ground, gone. Don't even know if all of them have insurance anymore from fire. And not only that, these fires, 5 of them are still burning. And after the fires, then the rain, and then the mudslides. Rebuild, I doubt it. Oh, man. Yeah. I laugh instead of crying because I do feel sorry. I don't live there, but once again, I have family and friends who live out in the area. I don't know if Tom Hanks' home was in any sort of danger. But all of these things make you go, why the hell? I mean, Gavin Newsom, how could Gavin Newsom ever survive this? And then I start thinking about the distractions. This happens now, 12 days before or 11 days before Donald Trump comes into office. Another disaster for the Trump administration to try to help with. It's really bad, all of this. Before I get to Donald Trump, even Joe Rogan, I love the fact that people are calling out what's that. Even Joe Rogan in 2024 called out the possibility of fires and things that were happening and what could happen in California. And it's very interesting when you look at these things that are happening. Here's Joe Rogan from July 19th of 2024.
I talked to a fireman once. This is one of the reasons it freaked me out. And he was telling me, he goes, dude, one day, he goes, it's just going to be the right wind and fire's going to start in the right place and it's going to burn through LA all the way to the ocean. And there's not a fucking thing we can do about it. I go, really? He goes, yeah, we just get lucky. He goes, we get lucky with the wind. He goes, but if the wind hits the wrong way, it's just going to burn straight through LA and there's not going to be a thing we can do about it. Because these fires are so big, dude. When they're talking about like thousands of acres that are burning simultaneously with like 40-mile-an-hour winds. And the wind's just blowing embers through the air, and those embers are landing on roofs, and those houses are going up, and they're landing on bushes, and those bushes are going up, and everything's dry. And once it happens in a way where it's so spread out that there's nothing they can do. There's nothing they can do.
You just have to evacuate, right?
Nothing they can do. I talked to a fireman.
Okay, this is an interesting thing. Dave says from the chat line, they're burying all the underground sex rooms under debris and soot. Once again, we want all opinions, whether you agree with them or not, because everything goes in 2025, right? After what we saw with Weinstein,
Have you heard about what's going on in the UK?
Diddy, and then in the UK right now, I'm glad you brought it. That's a whole show itself. You have gang rape squads of men. It's so sad. Little girls, little girls being violated by multiple men at the same time. I know, Joe, it's important you brought it up. It threw me for a second. And you literally have leaders and female leaders that are not trying to prosecute or stop some of those things that are going on. Yeah. The Getty Museum, Robert says, their own consequences. Yeah, you can look up what's happening, Jeannie. I mean, I'm not getting into it in today's show. It's sad. Literally, it makes my eyes water because when I first saw it, I literally almost started crying. What happened, 8, 9-year-old girls. And many, if you look at the pictures of the gang rape squads of men, they're Muslim men. They're Muslims from other countries that have come in. Yeah, so maybe something, are these fires to hide something? Why then? Why now? Why there? No water available, nothing. Yet this is one of the most wealthy areas in the world. Pam says it's going to create a massive exodus. It might. People are already leaving California, and it's sad. I was there I was back there, in July, August. It's such a beautiful. I love Southern California. I do. I love it. I'll admit it. I love it. I loved being there. I loved the environment. I loved the weather. I could not believe how many Trump fans were all over Southern California. And then I saw why when I saw how the breakdown came out. Trump flags flying everywhere in Southern California. I'm not kidding you. And then you see this stuff happen. And it's preventable. They have water to prevent it. You do the right thing, you don't get these results. Here's Trump calling out Gavin Newsom. Literally calling out Gavin Newsom, reminding him that it was his fault that this happened.
On California, Mr. President, during the pandemic, you often said that you didn't believe that you should bail out blue states that you believe were being mismanaged. Given your criticism of Governor Gavin Newsom, are you willing to work with him, and do you believe that federal aid should be provided to California for as long as it takes?
Well, it's very sad because I've been trying to get Gavin Newsom to allow water to come. You'd have tremendous water up there. They send it out to the Pacific because they're trying to protect a tiny little fish, which is in other areas, by the way, called a smelt. And for the sake of a smelt, they have no water. They had no water in the fire hydrants today in Los Angeles. It was a terrible thing. And we're going to get that done. It's going to finally be done. I got it done from the federal side, and he didn't want to sign it, but it's not going to happen again like that. There's no reason. Can you imagine? You have farmers that don't have any water in California. They have plenty of water. They don't have a drought. They send it out to the Pacific, and it's crazy. So what's happening in California is a true tragedy. I know those areas very well. I have many friends living in those houses. That is a true tragedy. Nobody ever thought. I mean, virtually Beverly Hills and areas around Beverly Hills are being decimated. The biggest homes, some of the most valuable homes in the world are just destroyed. I don't even know. You talk about a tax base. If those people leave, you're going to lose half your tax base of California.
Wow.
This is a true tragedy, and it's a mistake of the governor, and you could say the administration. They don't have any water. They didn't have water in the fire hydrants. They don't have water. And yet they have, the water comes from, you know where? Up north. And it comes down at levels, they give millions and millions of barrels of gallons of water that they have, and they send it out into the Pacific. For the Pacific, it's like a drop, it's nothing. But for California, it would take care of the whole state. So what's happened is a tragedy, and the governor has not done a good job. With that being said, I got along well with him when he was governor. We worked together very well, and we would work together. I guess it looks like we're going to be the one having to rebuild it. But what happened there, I don't think there's anything that I've ever seen quite like it. And the insurance companies are going to have a big problem because you're talking about big, big dollars.
All right, Donald Trump, we appreciate it. The thing I love about Trump is, unlike any president I can ever remember, doesn't he explain things so that you understand? He literally explains the situation. He doesn't give you some answer. Well, we're taking care of it and we'll let you know. No, he explains the past, the present, the future, what the problem is, why the problem occurred, and how he's going to fix it. Americans, sometimes I don't know if we deserve Donald Trump because he is that damn good. And yet, of course, I see from the chat line, you'll still have liberals saying that he's trying to take advantage of a situation that is a tragedy. Yeah, of course they're going to say that because they don't want to see him because of their pride. They don't want to see him do well. They don't want Americans to do well. They'd rather bite the hand that feeds them as well. They're all moving to Texas. Texas is becoming the new California, according to Jeannie. Yes, I've heard that as well. Robert says liberalism is a mental disease. Many people have talked about that on the show. How to fix? There is no fix. I'm just grateful that we have a man like Donald Trump who will break this stuff down. And then you have this, I'm sorry, I don't like the name calling exactly, but Newsom he's just a pathetic leader. And the only reason he's in, I mean, look at his history. The only reason he's in office is because he's in California. Listen to, here's Gavin Newsom talking in the midst of all of this and Trump calling him out because he is now on record. I mean, all of his skeletons are being shown. He knew this could happen and he didn't do anything about it. And then, of course, he's blaming and saying, "Oh, the local people will take care of it."
The situation with the water, obviously, in the Palisades ran out last night in the hydrants. I was trying the firefighter in this block. They left because there was no water in the hydrant here.
The local folks are trying to figure that out. I mean, just when you have a system fire, it's not dissimilar to what we've seen in other extraordinarily large-scale fires, whether it be pipe, electricity, or whether it just be the complete overwhelm of the system. I mean, those hydrants are typical for 2 or 3 fires, maybe 1 fire. You have something at this scale, but again, that's got to be determined by the local.
What is the situation?
Blaming the local? Really?
Fuck you, buddy.
I mean, he is blaming all the local people, the local leaders. Really, it's all it's probably them too, but it starts with the governor. That's what the governor's job is to do, is to help take care of the state. And he's passing the buck at every possible time that he can. These are the sad, and then of course he's trying to hit back on Donald Trump. He doesn't have any ground to stand. This is why this show has been so freaking popular from that standpoint.
That's right.
Eric Johnson jumping into the studio. Appreciate you coming, buddy. Always good to see you.
Oh,
Do you have friends out in LA, by the way? I figured, you being the huge rock star you are, the music man.
Yeah.
Have you talked to anybody yet or texted
Not
with
yet.
anybody?
I keep my eye out on Facebook. I want to see. I don't know that if you're burning your house down at the moment,
you really
that's something you really care about. Like, oh my God, my house burned down.
Some people are.
Yeah, I know.
And showing pictures. I saw Fox News had a couple of those people today.
Yeah.
It's just sad, isn't it?
So here's the deal with Los Angeles, and was it Rogan that you were talking about?
Yeah, well, Rogan predicted it.
It's this underbrush of all the trees out there, and they don't put any money to clean the crap out underneath the. I mean, it's just unbelievable. The Santa Ana winds come every year. Every single year.
100 mile an hour though.
Yeah,
isn't that strange?
It is,
and
but
wind blowing
Yeah.
from the land to the ocean, not the out. That's just bizarre.
No, it swoops down and and you
I know.
get
I'm just
nailed
trying
in
to
it.
learn.
And there's a few nights where the ladies that go out to the Sunset Strip, their hair is all jacked up. So I've seen it a few times, but you get one ember inside of that, and you have catastrophe. I don't think there's anything conspiratorial about this. You know what the conspiracy is? These moron fucking mayors that take $17 million away from a fire department in an area that you have freaking fires.
They needed water though, Eric.
Here's the other thing.
They didn't even have water.
A damn governor who diverts water from human beings who need water to save a guppy or whatever that smelt fish is. It is unbelievable. Here's the deal about it, and I hope this is the end of politics, and I hope that California and New York start to see the light. The people who win elections from this point forward, I hope, are the most boring assholes ever on the planet. They say, yeah, we're going to make sure the reservoirs are filled up with water. Ooh, that's boring. Yeah, we're going to make sure that the fire departments are funded properly. That seems a little boring. Here's the problem: is these politicians out in California and out in Seattle, Washington, and out in Oregon, they sprinkle their little sugar fairy dust on everything. It's like education. Well, we're not just going to educate your kids, but we're going to educate them with lesbians and transgendered people because they deserve this. And this DEI crap is gone way too far now. It's gone way too far. The socialism doesn't work in America. That's another thing. The leadership up in Chicago, the leadership in California, everybody wants to be a socialist. That stuff is not going to play anymore. After this, I'm telling you right now, I think this was the wake-up call. This wasn't a conspiracy. Nobody started this thing to hide P. Diddy's love triangle.
Not even the insurance being canceled just a couple months before
insurance
this happened.
Being canceled is smart because they can't afford.
They'll die out.
They can't afford it.
State Farm said that's why they did it.
They can't afford it.
We have to survive.
You guys aren't clearing out the underbrush to these forest areas. You guys are in a high wind area.
Live at your own risk.
You're not living in the Sierra
insane.
Nevadas. You're not living in St. Louis where you have occasional thunderstorms. You're living in a very dry area. It's just bound to happen.
But here's one. Karen from the chat line: 100 mile per hour winds, Eric, are not normal in LA.
It's not that they're not normal, but it's
another
nature.
land grab.
It's another land grab. No,
you don't think so?
No, I think that you would have to be able to. you would have to be able to aim and do this somehow. You'd have to go, okay, it's project, let's get the land out of Los Angeles on one, ready, break. And then be able to somehow aim the fire down the Pacific Palisades and aim the fire down the Hollywood Hills. Well, yes, go ahead.
So how do you explain Maui? It was in a very wet area.
Maui was, I don't know anything about this stuff.
I don't know how to compare Maui to it or not, except that there wasn't water to fight.
It looks exactly the same.
That's all I know.
You know, fire is fire. It's kind of indiscriminate. I don't know how you aim fire at areas.
All I could think is, let's see when the dust settles, so to speak.
Yeah.
If there's any blue roofed homes that are still standing.
Oh, Jesus. Here we go.
Not trying to make light of it, but remember that.
The story here is I feel the Rocky theme song coming up again for some reason. But here's
when he's running up the stairs, or
here's
when he's going into the ring, or
here's the story.
When he beat Drago.
Yes.
Sorry.
All of the liberals in California, all of the liberals who think that they need to make get their welfare checks, all the liberals that think that that having a government that is communist or that is Gasconish or is Karen Bassish or Gavin Newsomish or whatever it is, I feel the Rocky theme song, and these people are starting to wake up and literally come out of the ashes like a phoenix and go, we have had a damn enough. Because I'm telling you what, Trump, he's going to turn some shit around, and it's going to get really ugly here, and people are going to want to be on the side. I wouldn't even call them Republicans anymore. They're not Republicans. Mitt Romney's a Republican.
You don't find this strange at all, Eric, that Trump's getting ready to come into office, and it seems like anything and everything blue states, blue people, blue leadership can do
they're gone
to make things difficult for him isn't being done on purpose in some capacity.
No, I don't. I'm not a big conspiracy guy. I think that Trump is down in Mar-a-Lago with a whiteboard, just putting all of his ideas together, getting all of his people in place.
He's got a lot of ideas, too.
He's got a lot of ideas.
It's fun to watch. That's why I have hope.
Yeah. See, the thing about Trump and people, and I heard it actually on MSNBC, or maybe it was CNN. He goes, the thing about Trump is when you build a skyscraper in Manhattan, you don't do it linearly. You do it on multiple levels at the same time. You can walk and chew many pieces of gum at the same time. And that's what I feel like he's getting ready to do. People in California, this is my prediction, because I thought that Joe Rogan thing was amazing. Yeah. My prediction is Los Angeles, San Francisco, Chicago, Manhattan are going to become at least bright purple, if not red, in the next few years. That is my prediction. Please mark it down. And when I'm right, I want to win something out of it. Maybe a latte. Because I
think we can handle a
because
latte.
I think human beings are still human beings.
Maybe.
Human beings are still human beings. And even though they think that they're on team blue, they're going to have enough. They've had enough.
But from the chat line, where somebody said that if you look at the grid and you look at maps, they're trying to build these smart cities, and LA is one of these smart cities. The Olympics are coming up as well, just like Maui was on the list to be a smart city. And what do you know? It gets burned down, and people without insurance, they're not being given the chances to rebuild. Will that happen out here as well in California?
What's a smart city? A city that has too much underbrush, or where you're going to burn the damn thing down? What's a smart city? A city that doesn't everything that lets the criminals out of jail.
No, everything that you need, you don't leave. You have in a little city of 15 minute
yeah,
span.
whatever. You know what? People don't want that. They don't want to be incarcerated.
I don't know. Some people do.
No, they don't. Well, then go live in Newtown. Fine.
Jeannie says after Maui, she went and bought a blue car, so she'd be safe, just in case the laser came through. So cool. From the chat line, Karen says, Eric, you didn't believe the vax was an issue either.
I did too. What are you talking about?
Or that IVM worked. We can say ivermectin now, believe it or not.
I did too. No, I did. I said, look, this the inflammation of the soccer players over in Europe of their hearts. I go, that's concerning.
Yeah, you did.
Didn't I?
Yeah.
I go, I don't. If you want to get a shot, go get a shot. I also said, I also said, if you get COVID, I kind of feel like you're vaccinated a little bit. Isn't it kind of the purpose of
you had
immunity?
6 times.
I think I got it now.
You're like the bionic man now.
It's just, there's going to come a few weeks from now, maybe a few months, where you're not going to be so pissed off at the world anymore. You're going to see a lot of legislation that you go, damn, that's cool. Lower taxes. Yes, I'm good with that.
Well, he's putting the plan together.
It is. I cannot wait to read this. The plan's going to probably be thousands and thousands.
Every time
of
he does a press conference, he comes up with another idea.
Yeah.
Gulf of America. He comes up with all sorts of wonderful things that we're like, we never thought we'd see again.
Right.
The sad thing is for the people in California, and while this fire still burns, this is going to last for a while.
So the thing about the federal government is you can only be a commentator. And Trump is basically having a commentary over Gavin Newsom and saying, what are you doing? Why didn't you clean this up? Where's the $17 million for the fire department that you just ripped out?
It should have been there, but the
blah.
17 million isn't why this fire started.
No,
but
it's not that.
It just adds to the story, and you're like, damn, that's just another poke in the back.
I don't even think if they had $1 billion to throw at this, they would have been able to. This is nature.
Not, but you have to have water. They had no water.
I don't know how you get a.
They had no water.
Well, it's not even that. Yes, they had no water, but how in the world?
How in the world do you fight fire without water?
Do you get a helicopter up in 100-mile-an-hour winds?
Can't.
Anyway, you can't do it. Even if you don't have enough, hook and ladder trucks to put out that many fires. This is nature. It's like building your house. It's like you're building your house in Miami on the coast.
Which is
there's going to come a day when that thing gets blown down.
If you talk to people who own ranches and have forests and they own this kind of land, guess what they do? They do controlled burns. If the climate is bad, they do controlled burns. I went out on a couple of these.
Yeah.
It's to prevent these things from happening. But as Donald Trump reminded us, Gavin Newsom has refused to do that because of, quote, green policies.
Yeah.
And then you set yourself up for what Joe Rogan said, just like the firefighters out there say, it's just a matter of time before something happens.
Yeah. And you need to have competent leaders. And when I say competent, so from now on, when I say competent, boring.
You don't have to be boring.
No, you got to be
Ron
boring.
DeSantis isn't boring, and he's competent in Florida.
You need to be boring. Someone who goes in and goes, I need to make sure that the potholes are filled. Well, what about lesbian teachers in Parkway Central? I don't care about lesbian teachers. I have to get the potholes filled. And they go, okay, well, what about the MoDOT? MoDOT is a disgrace here in Missouri. They have so many roads that still have ice covered and snow covered streets that it's Illinois is doing a damn better job.
Did Chesterfield run out of money? I mean,
what happened?
Yeah.
How you could get 2 10-year-olds with a shovel and do better than MoDOT right now?
Yeah, there's a lot of snow issues that are going on. You talk about bad leaders, Joe. We got this. Goes to what Eric was talking about. Karen Bass. We've already shown you what a lack of leadership she provides for LA. Literally in Ghana. That's the other thing. It's like, oh, she just happens to be
What is
gone.
she in Ghana for?
I don't know.
For what? A conference?
Visiting relatives. I don't know.
Whatever. You know what?
Getting her nursing degree like Kim Gardner. I have
Didn't
no
she just
idea.
get the job? Didn't she just step into the place?
Yeah, Joe Biden took 40% of his presidency on vacation.
It's
Can we listen
unbelievable.
to what Karen Bass is telling residents in LA to do if they need help? You want to talk about, Eric, this makes me think about it because you talk about a lack of leadership. Here is LA's mayor. Here's how you get help.
Right now, if you need help, emergency information, resources, and shelter is available. All of this can be found at URL. Los Angeles, together is how we will get through. Found
and
at
I
URL.
read this statement.
URL.
Not even ChatGPT wrote this.
ChatGPT could run
That's
these cities.
LA's leader.
ChatGPT
URL.
could run these cities better than human beings.
Help
as a matter of
us.
fact,
God help us.
Let's
God
talk
help
to
LA.
ChatGPT, shall we? I talk to ChatGPT more than I talk to anybody else. Watch this. Let's see if she comes to life. Hey, ChatGPT, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks. How about you?
So what do you think about what's going on in Los Angeles right now? Do you think that we
like
should
her.
have more firemen? Do you think we should have more underbrush clearing? What do you think we should be doing?
It sounds like you're concerned about the fire situation in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Definitely. More firefighters and better equipment can help tackle fires quickly.
What
Clearing
about
underbrush-
water?
Sure, having enough water is crucial. Improving water management and ensuring there's enough water for firefighting is super important.
Oh my God, I feel like
Every
I'm
little
talking
bit
to
helps.
What about a new mayor and a new governor?
Leadership can definitely make a difference. Sometimes new perspectives and policies can help address these challenges more effectively.
I talk to ChatGPT all damn day long, Vic. I swear to God, we could literally put ChatGPT.
Ask what's her name? Did you give her a name?
Her name's Echo.
Can we get her on the show?
Echo. Well,
Yeah.
she just had an appearance on the show.
Echo, you're a big fan. You're a big hit right now.
Ask her who was more popular, Sammy Hagar.
I can't do that to Echo.
Why not?
All right, Echo, I got a question for you. You ready to take on some controversy?
Oh, we got to hear it. Sure thing.
Okay, she said sure thing. Let me see if I can turn this up a little bit more. Who was better for Van Halen, David Lee Roth or Sammy Hagar?
That's a classic debate. Both brought something unique to Van Halen. David Lee Roth had that wild, energetic stage presence, while Sammy Hagar brought a more polished sound and some big hits. It really depends on what you prefer.
I prefer
polished sound.
I prefer rocking out. That's so stupid. You don't know what you're talking about.
It is. I get it. But
anyway,
but it's just sad. You know what? The other thing, though, about this, let's hope it gets better for the future. Trump was talking about redirecting water from the Klamath River. He says he's trying to help. This is Trump talking, right? Isn't it, Joe?
I think it's Newsom.
Oh, it's Newsom? I don't want to hear from him anymore.
I'm not real sure.
I don't know. I'd rather hear Echo, the British.
Maybe it is Trump. Hold on. It is Trump. I'm sorry.
Trump says he's going to force that this BS doesn't happen again. Once again, it's more leadership from Donald Trump.
I don't know what you can do with the federal. I don't know that I want to pay. Do you want to really pay for California? Or would you rather California raise taxes from million gazillionaires up in San Francisco?
But they're not going to raise taxes just on a few people.
No, they have
it would
enough
be the
tax-
entire state.
No, you're missing my point.
Maybe
They
I am.
they
I'm sorry.
raise enough taxes, but they have such a budget deficit right now because of stupid ass social programs that they put together. These guys need to take a big step back. They raise a lot of money. They spend more than they raise. That is the problem. But I'll tell you what, getting a bunch of high school kids in the fields and clearing the underbrush, it's a good start, right? It's a good start.
How about those work release prison with those people that wear orange uniforms?
Thank you. And what about letting the water flow from Canada through the Northwest into California and let it get all the way down into Southern California like it's supposed to? Then you wouldn't have these reservoirs that are empty.
Yeah, the rich will move and stick the bill to the others. That's what it happens all the time. Here's Trump on this whole situation of trying to correct it, at least to get freaking water to where it should go.
Given your criticism of Governor Gavin Newsom, are you willing to work with him, and do you believe that federal aid should be provided to California for?
Oh, we already showed this one, Joe.
It's very sad because.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, that's all right.
Okay.
It's all good.
Is that an old one or is that
No,
new?
we showed it earlier today.
Okay.
I think it was a different cut, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. It's going to be very awkward because they're at Jimmy Carter's funeral right now.
You know,
all together,
God
all
bless
of them.
his soul. Today's the final, viewing,
Yeah.
final day of resting for the former president.
Yes.
Who's all going to be together today?
Trump is sitting in the pew. George W. Bush is sitting in the pew. Clinton is sitting in the pew. Obama is there. Hillary Clinton is there. And I believe Gavin Newsom is there as
Why
well.
the hell? Gavin Newsom should be right next to a damn fire.
Well, it's Jimmy
he should
Carter.
be handing out water. He should be cooking eggs, anything he can in California.
Yeah. Well, tell that to them.
And
I don't know that he's
Gavin
there.
Newsom,
I thought that they said
presidents.
That he was
I get. And isn't it great that those presidents get to sit right next to Donald Trump? Isn't it?
Apparently Obama and Trump were laughing together.
Oh well, whatever.
It's a nervous
Obama,
laugh.
yeah.
It's like, now, Donald, you don't want to come after us for real, do you? We got a lot of hidden skeletons you don't need to know about. That's my Obama impression. By the way.
Yeah, and we're also waiting today to find out what happens with the Trump appeal of the sentencing, trying to get that extended and not tomorrow, because tomorrow Donald Trump's supposed to be in a New York courtroom being sentenced.
Who
And
cares?
Does
Does anybody in this room
about it.
care?
Well,
if he's a felon, I would literally go I'd get a badge.
Well,
that said
Trump cares,
felon.
but Trump cares
About what?
He doesn't
it's not
want
gonna
this to go
affect him.
tomorrow. Yeah, but it's him and his team have been fighting this because they don't want that all there.
I understand.
And then other information being released as well.
I understand because he can appeal it. But it's another badge of honor. It's another thing that he's going to use, just like the mugshot, don't you think? Yeah, I was convicted by a bunch of liberals in Manhattan. I mean, do you want that to happen to you? He can still use that for himself. Do you want that? I'm standing in the way of blue courtrooms coming after red MAGA people.
Yeah, he just wants it all to go away too. I get that.
I mean, I get it too. He's got to. I mean, we're down to the last 12 hours.
Brock's sitting next to Trump, by the way, too.
Who?
Brock is sitting next
I know,
to Trump.
they're having a good time.
But here's the thing, though. It's not time from the chat line. It's not time for them to be nice or to be angry towards each other. I mean, it's a freaking funeral for a past president, an elite club.
Yeah.
You don't do that. And of course, they'll attack each other.
Well, the first time Trump didn't really interact with the presidents, remember?
Yeah, of course.
Because he didn't. Remember that? He didn't show up. I mean, he was.
I wonder if he's interacting with them or if they're coming up to interact with him now.
No, they have to
because he knows where those bodies
the event
are
has nothing to do with Trump. The event has to do with Carter.
Correct.
And so how do you not invite the former president / president to be to the to, I don't know, the Rhino clubs, whatever it is. I mean, it is very odd seeing them together, but I think Trump he's done with it. He's like, look, I'm about to roll over you guys. The last time is not going to happen again.
But even if
we can
be
friends,
he can appeal. Even if he is sentenced, he can appeal. I didn't mention that yet.
Yeah,
but I do agree. It's not time for them to go after each other.
No.
No,
Trump. I think Trump's just a competitive dude. He's like. Did you ever wonder, like, if you see a Tyson and a Holyfield and they beat the bull crap out of each other in the ring, and then later they're having a beer together? That's kind of how Trump sees himself.
As long as one of them doesn't take a bite out of Trump's ear,
they taking a bite out of every other part of his body. Why not? So I mean, it's like I think that Trump just sees politics as a contact sport. And when we're sitting in the pews at a funeral where we can laugh about things.
Robert says they were also at the Bush senior funeral as well, kind of like a high school reunion.
Kind of, sort of.
And from the chat line, Trump will be handing out envelopes today that said, I won.
Yeah.
I won.
Yeah.
There you go. I won.
I think you should get the $2 bill. The Trump $2 bill. Give every single one of them.
Yeah. So we we do what we can. We try to have fun with this. We try to be serious about what's happening in LA. And real quick, I just want to say thank you to Century Water System, one of our show sponsors. We're grateful for what Century can do. I love it. Eric loves it. Joe's learning about it as well. Literally, it cleans your water. Literally cleans your water like any filter system does. But it gets even more out. We're talking about all the bad stuff, the fluoride, the chlorine, the vaccines that are in our water. And then it brings oxygen to the water through a natural process using carbon, not electricity. Oh, yeah. Then it adds magnesium and calcium. There's a reason why people feel better, sleep better, sickness is disappearing. Dogs, cats, when given a bowl of Century water as compared to the water you get out of your sink, guess what they do? They go in. They suck up the Century.
You can bring a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. That's over.
That's true.
Over.
Horses as well.
Yeah.
And you go to the bathroom less. It's because your organs are actually soaking up the minerals. The minerals are depleted. They're gone when you clean water. Yeah, it's a liquid, but it's not how nature intended it to be from the get-go. Check it out. CentryH2O.com /discount / save sips. CentryH2O.com /discount / save sips. We're running that for you on the bottom of the screen. There's a reason why not one system has been returned in 3 years as we show that. Also, thank you. Our 500th episode today. That's right.
What?
500 shows of Cancel This already.
Is that right?
500 shows. Also,
that can't be right.
Special thanks to Rockwood Charcoal, the best charcoal you can find anywhere. Do not use any other charcoal. Use the natural brand. The best charcoal is made in the state of Missouri, and that's what Jonathan Heslip does with his Rockwood Charcoal. And he asked you that if you get it, please get it from Ace Hardware, not Amazon. It helps everybody when you go through a company like Ace Hardware. Also, when you talk about some of the best sandwiches you're going to find, you're going to want to check out Capriati's. We're talking about what makes the best sandwiches. Ingredients, of course, Wagyu beef, fresh roasted turkey every night, sliced and diced in the morning for their sandwiches. And if that wasn't good enough, you got to check out their catering. Their catering platter is second to none. There's a reason why when people try it, they continue to go back. You just got to find Capriati's first, and Capriati's is in Rock Hill. Check it out. Give them a shot. Open 12 hours a day for your easy times of getting in to check out Capriati's. Also, if you're looking for real estate, check out Megan Livingstone, Megan.Livingstone@exprealty.com, Megan.Livingstone@exprealty.com. The phone number 314-249-1708, 314-249-1708. Get your plan in place right now. Todd says, by the way, that sandwich looks delicious from Capriati's. It is. I've gone there. A few different times, and I get those sandwiches. They are fantastic. All right, we appreciate you guys jumping in.
We had
with us
those
today.
we had those for Christmas, catered Christmas.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Jonathan Yoner gave you some
Yeah.
catered sandwiches.
Yes.
They're
Yeah.
very, very, very good. Hey, guys, we appreciate you jumping in. Check out cancelthisshow.com. If you want to help promote us in any way, support us from a financial standpoint, any donations are welcome. Cancelthisshow.com. You go to the menu and you click on the donate button. And if you know of advertisers that want to hook up with us, let us know. You can email me, vic@cancelthisshow.com. We appreciate you guys jumping in with us today. So we say goodbye for Pro Joe and Eric Johnson, superstar. I'm Vic Faust, guys. Thanks for joining us on this 500th episode of cancelthisshow.com, January 9th. Have an awesome day. We'll see you next time. Are you looking to elevate your brand's presence? Partner with Cancel This Show with myself, Vic Faust, and my co-host,
Megan Marie. We're ranked in the top 10% globally.
Our show has reached over 1.68 million engaged listeners, and we continue to grow monthly.
Podcasting is one of the best ways to advertise
because it offers a highly engaged audience, SEO targeted reach,
and the ability to build a personal connection with listeners.
Dive into the dynamic world of cancel culture, politics, all current events, and the latest news with us.
It's the American taxpayers that are having to pay for all of this monkey business left and right.
Look at all of these pictures. They are using AI to generate fake photos, and we show you them. And Joe will show, we got a video of one, we've got certain pictures.
They were hiding the fact and trying to lie to the American people for months that Joe Biden was doing well.
This is Kamala. This is Joe Biden. It's Barack Obama. It's Jake Sullivan, all together doing anything and everything they can to strike back at Donald Trump because he continues to kick their ass.
If that doesn't make you mad enough to vote one way or another in this election, nothing will do it.
Get your company's voice heard, your brand recognized,
and the exposure you deserve.
Does your brand align with our mission?
Let's talk and make an impact together.